we're going to practice running Python code by running an actual automation code. So you don't need to know about automation. You don't need to know about Selenium. It's about just navigating to the file system and just being able to execute it, running the Python command to execute it. That's why we're trying to practice. This is part of my Python course. And before we write code, we want to run existing code. We want to be familiar with just executing existing stuff, which requires like installing dependencies, creating virtual environments, navigating, and we're just trying to get comfortable doing that. So I put this in the beginning of my Python course. So this video is not edited for YouTube. It's just straight from my course into YouTube. Just a few videos out of my course. I'm putting them here. We'll give you a little preview, but you can practice. The code is right there available for you. You can go ahead and practice, execute this automation and see that you're able to do that. Okay. And let me know in the comments if this is helpful. If you want to see something different, if you want to see something more, I'd love to hear it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the video. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right. So first you'll start by reading the documentation, understand what this framework is about, what are the requirements and things like that, because there are some specific things some frameworks require. So in this case, this says it's a demo of an automation framework using Python, Pytest, Selenium WebDriver. All right. Then there's information about, it uses a page object model. It has API testing in it. It has front end testing in it. It had environment configuration. That's the part that's a little tricky for somebody that's new, but we did talk about environment variables. So hopefully that would make sense. So we have the project structure, we have the config folder, we have the pages. This is a page object model. So later on, when you get to the Selenium part of the course or the Selenium course, you're going to learn about page object pattern. That's one of the most design patterns, the most common design patterns in automation. So this framework actually is designed following that. So we have pages, we have the tests. So inside of the test, we have the front end folder and the back end folder. So we have all the front end tests are in the front end folder, or the backend test or API tests are in the backend folder. We have .env. .env is a special file used to store environment variables. Usually you put credentials in there. So we have that. In the repo, we have .env.example because you don't normally check in .env. That's the whole point. It's a secret. So you don't put it inside of the repository. There is a whole different ways to manage that. So we just put an example here. And once you put it on your local, you change it, you rename the file to .env and you change the values. And that should be coming up down here. All right. Then there is the requirements. If we look at the requirements, that's one thing I want you to know is installing dependencies, right? We worked on a few projects like that. So when we look at this requirement, there's like 6 different libraries. They have specific versions and things like that. So we're going to install those as well. All right. So then the most important part is how do we do it? The requirements, we need 311 and above. You should be good. So it's saying, hey, create a virtual environment. You couldn't do it without, as always, but it is always recommended because if you're going to install a bunch of libraries like we are, it's a great idea to have its own little environment. So it says create virtual environment, and this is how you're going to create it, and this is how you're going to source it. It should not be in one single line. It should be multiple lines. This is basically how you create it, whether you're on a Mac or Windows. This part here is how you're going to activate it on a Mac, and this is how you activate it on Windows. By the time you see this, it should be fixed. All right, then. So then we install the dependencies. Then we're going to say copy that .env.example to .env and update configuration. Okay. And run and test is a matter of Pytest test. So you can just use the command Pytest and the folder where the tests are. So you can do test. If you just want to run the front end, you're going to do test/front end. So Pytest is the command and you give it the folder where you want to run. Now there's another way to do it. You can use Python-m. I don't think this documentation have it. But instead of running the Pytest directly, you can run the Python command that you can tell Python what module to use. Pytest is a module, just like pip is. Pip is actually a module. When you want to install something, you do pip install something. But if you want, you can do Python-m for module, pip. So you're telling Python, hey, run Python, use the pip module and whatever the commands are for pip, install, blah, blah. The same thing with Pytest. Some people would need to use it. I would need to use it, and I'll show you why. So there's a bunch of things about Pytest. If you want to just run just login related tests or account related tests, this is more about Pytest than about running a test. But you look at the documentation, and the documentation will tell you, hey, this is how you run API tests. This is how you run front end tests. This is how you run back end tests. It will show you. Okay, so let's do that. Let's run some basic stuff. The first thing I'm going to do is download it. As I always say, if you're familiar with Git, go ahead and clone it. Use Git the proper way, Git clone, but that's not the expectation at this stage in the course. So I'm just going to do, let me explain that. I'm going to click on code, download zip, and that's going to take it into the downloads folder. I'm going to say, okay. Windows, the same thing. You go to the repository, which will be in the description. You can click on code. Okay, something weird is happening here, most likely because I'm remotely connected. Yeah, something definitely weird is happening. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect. All right, since the Windows is like another computer, it's like right behind me, and I'm remotely connected to it, weird stuff happens sometimes. So I'm going to click on code and download zip, and this is going to download it to the downloads folder. I'm going to hit save. All right, now we're going to go to our file system, bring this over here. In our file system, the Pytest automation demo main zip, double click it, that will unzip it, and you have the folder. So I'm going to take that folder. I'm going to go into desktop. I'm going to go into my projects, and I'm going to paste it there inside of my project, Pytest automation demo main. I moved it to the folder where I want it. Same thing here on Windows, very similar. I'm going to go to downloads, right? I have the Pytest zip. I'm going to extract it, extract all. I'm going to do extract. All right, this one's a little bit bigger, I guess. Let's see, Pytest, this guy here. I'm going there. I will copy this, or I will just cut it out. Go to desktop. Go to my project, because that's just a choice, right? I choose this is where I want my stuff. I want you to really be thinking about it like keeping stuff separate, right? There is stuff that you get from Super SQA. There is stuff you get from YouTube. There is stuff you get from other tutorials. Try to be organized. That's a good thing to do. So I'm going to paste it here. So now I have the folder, the project that I got in the right folder. If I was doing Git, I just go to that place and I do Git clone, and it will just put it right there. All right, so the next thing is I'm going to open it in VS Code. So I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. No matter what page you're in, you're just going to go to File. When you open Visual Studio Code, this is a video from earlier. It's another project. You can just leave it. You can close it. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is go to File, go to Open Folder. You do Open Folder, and then find Desktop, my project, in the Pytest one. Pytest automation demo. Open that, right? That will open it. You will see everything here. You see test automation, you see the big folder right there. It's all uppercase and all the files there. Okay. The same thing on Windows. You're going to go to VS Code, open any VS Code window, go to File, go to Open Folder, and go to Desktop, my projects, and the Pytest automation main. Don't double click it. Click it once and click on Select Folder. Then that opens as a project, as its own project in VS Code. Yes, trust it. Okay, that's it. After this, it's going to be, everything is going to be the same. So I'm just going to stick with the Mac. On Windows, the only thing is when you open the terminal, one, you could just, go to search and just open command prompt by itself. You can just open command prompt and you can do CD, desktop, right? You can just go to where you need to go and do whatever you need to do. Or you can just open the terminal, like I always say, inside the built-in. The only thing is, wait, this is my Mac. Here, VS Code, you open the terminal. The only thing I want to emphasize is when you open the built-in terminal in VS Code, it's going to open PowerShell. It says PS at the beginning. That means it opened PowerShell. And it also shows you right here that it is PowerShell. So you can do drop down and do command prompt. They'll open another tab or another option, basically. That is a CMD, a command prompt. And then everything else, you just do the same thing that we're going to do on a Mac. I'll come back and I'll quickly go over it at the end. So now we have the project ready, right? So basically we know we have Python 3. So it's saying we have to create a virtual environment and install our dependencies. So we're going to create a virtual environment, Python 3-m VNV. That is the command. Now I'm going to give it the name of the virtual environment I want to create. I want to create VNV Pytest, right? And that's going to create a folder called VNV Pytest. And you will see it here. It will show up. And now we're going to activate it. We're going to say source VNV Pytest bin activate. It is activated. It's right here, activated, right? Then what? We're going to install our dependencies, okay? So we're going to come here. Let's just open the dependencies, requirements.txt. We got a lower Pytest, Selenium Pytest, Pytest HTML, everything the project needs. So it is going to be pip. First, we have to make sure we're in the right place. So we're going to do pwd. We are in the right folder. We can do ls or ls-la, and we can see that requirements.txt is in the current folder. That's important. That's actually one of the things that trips people off, is if the requirements.txt happens to be in a different folder, like one folder in, then you would have to go into that folder before you run the pip command. So when you do pip install -r, you're going to tell it where the file is. Since in the current folder, you're just going to give it the name, requirements.txt. That looks weird, so let me fix it. Pip install -r requirements.txt, hit enter. This is going to go and install every single one of those one at a time. It's going to install Allure, it's going to install Selenium, it's going to install Pytest, it's going to install Pytest HTML one at a time. It installed everything. Okay, no errors here. You're going to get this notice pretty much all the time. Just ignore it for now. So let's clear that. Now, what's the next thing? We're going to follow this particular instruction, because when you're working on another framework, that framework is going to have its own set of instructions. Then it just says, hey, copy the env example to .env and update configuration. So we have this .env example, so we need to rename it. We can just copy it, rename it. Most likely, it's a great idea to copy, so I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to rename it. Oops, I did not want to delete it. They put rename and delete next to each other, so I accidentally clicked it. So it's going to be just .env. Struggling renaming over here. Just .env. .env is a special kind of file that the framework is going to read for it. The framework is configured to go and look for that. And we have two secrets here, just the API key and API secret with some random values, right? We don't need them, but we need them to exist. We don't need them to be real, because we're not going to make real API calls. Okay, so it's saying, okay, copy this and update the configuration. There you go. And running test. So all we got to do is run Pytest tests. In my system though, if I do Pytest, it does something weird. If I do which Pytest, it's going to show me, it's actually decent, I think. Let me see. I think I fixed it maybe. The Pytest -- version. It uses like a really old version of Pytest. This is actually good. So I can actually do it. So now I'm in this folder. If I do ls-la, you can see all the folders. There is a tests folder. You see the test folder? All the tests are in there. So I want to run them, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Pytest and then the folder name. Make sure the virtual environment is active, because everything we installed it inside of the virtual environment. Hit enter. Now it's trying to run every test that are in there. So a lot of them failed already. A bunch of backend failed. All the backend ones failed for some reason. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't matter though, right? We just want to see it's running. And my hands are free. As you can see, all the front end tests are running. The browser is opening, a bunch of stuff happening, closing. Browser opening, a bunch of things happening, closing. A lot of things failing. So it says 6 failed, 36 passed. So this is about like 42, 44, 45 tests in this framework. 45 tests. And 36 of them pass, 6 of them fail. Now, this is beyond the point of trying to investigate what is the error, what is the fail, what's this failing. All of that we can get into, but it's beyond the point, right? The point is to be able to execute it. So we just did that. We literally executed. Let me clear that. Another option I want to give you, instead of saying Pytest, I want you to know this. I want you to know that you can do Python -m Pytest. You're telling the computer, hey, run Python, but tell Python to use the Pytest module. Then the same thing we do normally, the test folder, right? Tests. If I hit, it's pretty much the same thing. The only thing is it will guarantee is using the Pytest that's in the current environment. So it's a better idea for you to do Python 3 -m Pytest in the normal command. That's better than just doing Pytest. A lot of people, depending on how your system is set up, Pytest command by itself will give you headaches. So that's what I'm going to recommend. That's what I normally would do. All right, so let's say you want to run just front end test. I don't know if this is an example here. Yeah, so if you want to run just front end, you can do, instead of Pytest, I'm going to do Python 3 -m Pytest, and the folder tests front end. Right now it's going to run only stuff that's in the front end. Remember, there was like 6 failed, 36 passed, 2 ignored, blah blah. It's going to be a lot less tests now, because we're only running tests that are in the front end folder. Okay, so only 5 of them. Most of them are backend, I guess. Only 5 of them. Now if I repeat the same command, but instead of front end, I'm going to run backend. I think they all are failing in the backend, or not. Okay, so I run everything in the backend. It's super fast. Well, it's not really making API calls. It's fast. Normally backend tests are faster than front end tests, but in this case, not even making a real API call. So 6 failed, 8 passed. So the point is we run it. If we see this, so what I want you to do is I want you to post this in our community, right? Take a screenshot. You just take on a Mac Command Shift 4, like that. You just take a quick screenshot and post it in our community, so I know you've done it, right? That's a milestone. You achieved execution. Later on, when you are in the Selenium course, you are going to write the code. You are going to create this framework, this a very similar framework, and you are going to run it. But right now, the task is to go and run something that exists. And that's pretty much it. One other command, if we want to, we can do Python 3 -m Pytest, and we can just say run everything that's like related to login -k, in that. Then it's going to run a few tests that has the word login in the name of the test, in the file name, the test name or something. So there is 2 tests here, and that is part of the example here, right? Yeah, I don't need to go beyond this. This has been, an experience of running an existing test. So if you have not done it, I really think you should do it. So start from the beginning of the video, or just you have the information now, so just go ahead and run it. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. And the next one, we're going to run the same thing, but a robot framework. It's a whole different types of framework. We're not going to look at the code, so it doesn't matter, but the process is the same. Download the code, create a virtual environment, install dependencies, run. That's it. So we're going to do it for a robot framework, right? This is Pytest. This is a type of framework. In Python, Pytest is one of the most popular frameworks. Robot framework is another very popular framework in automation in Python. So the next example we're going to do is going to be a robot framework. A similar process. I just want you to experience, working around, navigating the system, going and running the file and things like that, because people seems to have a hard time with that when trying to learn how to code. Yeah, the logic and stuff is one thing, but executing code is another thing. So I want you to get warmed up. That's why we're doing these exercises, and hopefully you're enjoying it. All right, so I'll see you on the next one.